fudge, please. Go on.
All right. You see this? This is the route you're gonna take. Then we just wait till the last delivery goes out tonight. Then you knock out the grate, jump down, open the door.
Then you find out what's in those boxes?
Exactly.
And you say this guard is armed.
Yes, but he won't be there.
And booby traps?
Booby traps?
Laser spikes in the wall?
What?
You know what this half-baked plan of yours sounds like to me? Child endangerment.
We'll be in radio contact with you the whole time with no...
Child endangerment.
Erica, hi. We think these Russians want to do harm to our country. Great harm. Don't you love your country?
You can't spell America without Erica.
Yeah. Oddly, that's, totally true. So, don't do this for us. Do it for your country. Do it for your fellow man. Do this for America. Erica.
Ooh, I just got the chills. Oh yeah, from his float, not your speech.
Stranger Things, the greatest show alive. All we can do is wait for season 5. I thought in the meantime that it might be fun to read every comic and book in what I call the Stranger Danger Book Club. Stranger Danger Book Club. Book Club. Stranger Danger Book Club.
How dramatic! From a battle I've come, to a battle I rise, blazing up to the sky. Chains of fate hold a fiery stride. What the hell does this even mean? I'll see you again when I die. All right, everybody gather around. I am mighty, alone we are kings. Whirlwinds of fire we ride. Providence brought us the crown and the ring, covered with blood and our pride. Heroes! So, okay, I'm going to stop singing now. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, knowing that this rise, their last. I said I was going to stop singing, but welcome to the stranger danger. This guy keeps singing. Oh, wait, I like a spot. As I drink my last ale, bowstring and steel will prevail. All right, now I'm really done. Ladies and gentlemen, now I can really say it. Finally, after all these weeks, dare I say almost 2 months, I can say welcome back to the Stranger Danger Book Club. Saying goodbye to 2022. Today I'll be covering the Stranger Things comic graphic novel, Erica the Great. And listen to that guy singing in the background. If you don't know this band that I just played, I tried to think of something that was kind of in the world of Dungeons and Dragons and wizards and kings and battles. And the only band I could think of was Manowar. They are a kind of a silly band, if you really think about it. Like, my favorite band in the world is Iron Maiden. They're heavy metal, but they have a silliness to them too, because a lot of their songs are about history and different battles, and how many songs about World War II or World War I or the Battle of 1812, or there's a song based on old poems, and I love all that stuff. But Manowar takes it to another level, where they have all these songs about battles and going on battles and getting on their horses to go to battles and losing and dying in battles, and kings, and there's a whole in an album, there's a whole story where a grandfather tells his kid, his grandson, a story, right? It's like, and I'm gonna just tell you right now. He goes, "Grandfather, tell me a story." He goes, "All right, go and get your storybook." He goes, "Not one of those, a real story." "A real story?" "Yes. Tell me about when you were a boy." And then the guy tells him like a 7-minute story about all these battles. And then at the end, the kid goes, "Grandfather." "Yes." "Who were those men?" He says, "Who were they? They were the Metal Kings." And then it goes into this heavy metal song, but it's like, it is so over the top, dramatic, silly, and I love it. Like, this song that I played has no guitars in it, no drums. It's all like organ, and the guy has a beautiful voice. And I was like, that could be on Broadway, but it also could be played on stage, dressed in leather, because they also dress kind of like leather pants. They have a song that says like, "Manowar, Manowar, living on the road. When we're in town, speakers explode. We don't attract wimps because we're too loud. Just true metal people." That's Manowar's crowd. And at one point he says, "Wearing jeans and leather, not Cracker Jack clothes." Manowar doesn't wear Cracker Jack clothes, but they do sing a beautiful song about crowns and rings that honestly has nothing to do with Stranger Things, except it's kind of could be used in a video about swords and sorcery, which brings us full circle back to today's book, Erica the Great. Whew, I did that. I gotta just like take a breath, because I did that with unrehearsed, just kind of went with it. Guys, it's been a little while, huh? I haven't spoken to you since Stranger Things Day, and I'm trying to think what happened since that time. Well, number one, I got a brand new microphone for Christmas, so if I sound better, it's because I got a new microphone. I'm really excited about that. And just to let you know, you are the first podcast that I'm trying. The first thing I've ever done recording with this new microphone is for you guys, the stranger friends. Since we had a couple holidays, hope everyone in America had a nice Thanksgiving. Hope everyone around the globe had good holidays, just this last week. Whatever you celebrate, whether, my family, we celebrate Christmas. If you had a Merry Christmas, I hope you did. Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, those are the three I can think of. I'm sure there are others. And we're just about done with 2022. But I couldn't say goodbye to the year without saying thank you guys for an amazing year. And I'm sure I'll say this multiple times, but 2022 was easily the biggest year for the podcast. And thank you so much to the Stranger Friends, and for the new Stranger Friends, and for the people still finding it. Hopefully people got cool phones for Christmas, and they're saying, let's what's a podcast? I've heard so much about it. Let me go listen to one. And then they go and they say, well, what's the coolest podcast ever? And obviously we're in like the top 7, right? Don't you think? Stranger Danger's up there. Oh boy. So in all that time, I also did another thing. In December, most of the month was actually taken up by another podcast, but I did it with the old microphone. My podcast called Geek Mentality, where I did 25 days of Christmas sitcom episodes, mostly from the 80s, some from the 70s, even the 60s, even older, some from the 90s, some from the 2000s, from this decade even, but just did 25. This is my second year of doing it, and I will be doing it again next year. You can go to strangerdangerpodcast.com any time of day, but you can go to fans.experts.com/geekmentality to check that podcast out anytime, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. We never close. 7-Eleven, they're open from 7 to 11? No. Stranger Danger and Fans Not Experts, 24 hours a day. What do you think of that? Huh? We have a night crew. They take care of things. They vacuum up at the end of the night, make sure everything's good. And they make sure to turn the lights off. And then the morning crew comes in, gets everything set up for the day. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I just kind of went with it. I'm leaning into things. I don't know, does this Diet Ginger Ale have caffeine in it? Because if it does, it's working. So I had a really nice Christmas. I hope everyone who celebrates Christmas or whatever you celebrate had a good time, a wonderful time as well. Last time you heard from me was Stranger Things Day. So I have some voicemails that may seem out of date when you say, I hope you haven't. Some of them might mention Christmas. Some of them might have been a little old, but I wanted to make sure I got everything that everyone sent in, and we'll be going through those in a little bit. But before that,
it's time for Stranger Things news. From the Stranger Danger News Center, here's Mikey C.
Thanks, Mikey. So I went to the Google News, which is just news.google.com, and I typed in Stranger Things. And when I did that, it was mostly like, when is Stranger Things 5 coming back? It talks about the numbers, or one thing says 5 glaring plot holes in Stranger Things 4 nobody talks about. From something called Star Efax. I'm never going to link on that. That is the most clickety clackety clickbait ever. I like to look at stories from places that seem like they're reputable. I don't know what the heck Startefax is, but I don't know. Doesn't look good to me. So I'm not going there. I'm going to MovieWeb. MovieWeb.com. I'm going to put a link to this article in the show notes. They have a story. They have an article that says Stranger Things star Noah Schnapp teases a perfect ending. Noah Schnapp says, Will plays a very important role in how Stranger Things will end with its 5th and final season. Don't say final season. Nothing is over. So it does the whole thing of which most web articles do, where it's like, in 2016, Noah Schnapp made his debut as Will. Blah 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 blah. Trying to get all the click, words to try to make sure that these articles get picked up by news stories. Even though I feel like MovieWeb is good enough to not do that, but it says. In a new interview with Forbes, Schnapp provided a small tease for Stranger Things 5. He suggested that the show will end with Will, whatever that might mean, while noting that the way Stranger Things ends is perfect. And I'll read you the full quote. It says, I can just tell you that I'm very, very excited for what's to come. I think they did a great job with Will's character this season and beautifully addressed everything they needed to. They will close the show. The way they closed the show is just perfect. The story started with Will, and it'll end with Will. To me, that almost sounds like he's talking about in the past. Like, is he talking about the way they handled Will's character in 5? He must have read the scripts already. I don't know. But it started with Will, it will end with Will is pretty amazing and ominous. And, everyone talks about, I don't say everyone, but when you think of the fighting the monsters, you think first 11. You think that she is, she's the strength, she's the power, she's got the superpowers basically to battle these creatures. these monsters, this stupid Vecna. But don't underestimate Will the Wise. That's all I'm going to say about that. Now, there's also I quote in the article. I'm going to put a link in the show notes to this article. But the Duffers at a recent FYC panel, which is for your consideration, which I don't know who runs that panel or what, but for your consideration is like a kind of is nomenclature the right word? The way that people will talk about, hey, for your consideration for the best Emmy, for the Emmy for best show ever, please vote for Stranger Things, things like that. That's what I think of when I think of for your consideration. So he, in the quote, Ross Duffer says, just as important as the supernatural, we have so many characters now, most of whom are still living. It's important to wrap up those arcs because a lot of these characters have been growing since season 1. So it's a balancing act between giving them time to complete their character arcs and also tying up those loose ends and doing our final reveals. That really doesn't say much. It just says that they're going to try. It seems like they're going to try to have satisfying story arcs. And the article says, which would include Will Byers. Well, of course it would include Will Byers. So, I mean, this article, I guess the quote from Noah is a little more interesting than the quote from the Duffers, even though it's not uninteresting, but it's nothing where you're like, what? They're going to try to give it a satisfying ending with some cool reveals and give, the character arcs? Of course they are. They're the Duffers. They do everything right. And that's Stranger Things in the News, everybody. So I wanted to quickly, before going through some voicemail, I got some email that I wanted to read. Now, I apologize, but I don't know if I read this email during the Stranger Things. I don't think I did. So I'm going to read it again, even though it goes all the way back from October 31st, 2022, from Isaac. Isaac, if I'm reading this again, congratulations. It's Isaac again. And I would just like to say Happy Halloween. Wow, I'm putting this out the day before New Year's Eve, and he's Happy Halloween. Again, my fault. I hope you and all the Stranger Things fans have amazing, despite the fact that it's Monday, and nobody likes Mondays, especially Garfield. The other day, I went to the Stranger Things experience in London. It was amazing. We went through the lab and went in the Upside Down. There was Scoops Ahoy, Surfer Boy Pizza, and so much more. And do you think we will get a season 5 tease similar to We Aren't in Hawkins Anymore on Stranger Things Day? Well, we didn't. And I feel like I definitely have read this email before, but I don't know if I read it on the show. So first of all, the experience in London would be awesome. I did put a vote in to try to get the experience to Boston, which I would then take my niece to. She did finish the show, by the way. And so she is fully prepared for Stranger Things 5 with Uncle Mike, whenever that comes. So hope you had an amazing day. Bye. He signs it. Bye. Which I start to realize is that how everyone says bye now? Because you're gonna hear that a few times. I love it. I started doing that at work sometimes with some of the people I work with. They were younger than me, and they were like bye, and I would type that on our Slack channel, our group chat. Okay. Thank you, Isaac, for your email. Now, I got another email. This one from Mr. Anycast himself. It says, hey there, Mr. Stranger Danger. It's me, Mr. Anycast again. I really like filmmaking, and I'm making a movie that will be on my YouTube channel, Anycast Videos, in 2023. It's a drama that mirrors my life in some ways. A pivotal moment is when I started my podcast. My question to you is, are you okay with me having a scene in which I'm listening to your podcast, primarily your old Anchor ad? That's what really ignited my dream to making one. Stay strange and eat Eggos. Now, he wrote this to me on November 29th, and I wrote back to him a month ago today. Mr. Anycast, I said, I wish I could say that I was eating Eggos, but right now I'm eating a Wendy's breakfast sandwich. That's a true story. Those sandwiches, they're definitely not good for you, but they are delicious. I said, that's not as good as Eggos. Thanks for asking and checking in. And absolutely, yes, you can use in the clips from my show or the ad or whatever. I don't care. Go for it. I think that it's awesome, and I can't wait to check it out. Stay strange. And then I wrote, look forward to the next book club coming very, very, very soon. It was a month ago. I lied to him. I lied to you, Mr. Anycast. The podcast wasn't coming very, very, very soon. It's here now, though, so that's pretty exciting. So that would be cool. I would love to check that movie out. And yeah, and the fact that the ad that I put in, the old Anchor ad that I had where it talked about how you can make your own podcast, the fact that that inspired you to make your own podcast, well, I mean, it worked. That's pretty awesome. I love it. Thank you again for writing in. Oh, and speaking of writing in, you can always email me at strangerdanger@fansnotexperts.com. But Isaac, who I mentioned before, he wrote in again and said, as you know, we both love Ready Player One, and I found some interesting news. They're making Ready Player 2 into a film and a prequel book, which is going to be wicked. That is going to be wicked. Can't wait. All the best, Isaac. Bye. That's how Isaac again signed his email. I read Ready Player 2. I read Ready Player 1. I love Ready Player 1. That was so much like right in my zone of 80s, geekdom and nerddom and pop culture stuff. Ready Player 2, I enjoyed the book. It took me a while because then I forget why I stopped reading. I think I went to read a couple Stranger Things books or something. And there were moments I was like, oh, I'm not enjoying this as much. It's like, I don't think I like the main character as much as I used to. And then it kind of picked up and I got really into it again. And I remember just enjoying it when I was finally finished. And the fact that there's going to be a prequel, I'm looking forward to that. And they're going to make Ready Player 2 a movie? I did not know that. I got to look at that more. That is cool because the movie was a lot of fun. It's slightly different from the book. I know in the movie Steven Spielberg brings him living within The Shining, which is awesome. And in the book, I think it's War Games. It's an old Matthew Broderick movie that they do that. But that is cool. Thank you again for writing in, Isaac. Anytime, buddy. Now we got another email from Roje or Hervove. I am not good at pronouncing words or names. Rove Milikovic. Milikovic, I think I nailed. I'm going to say Roje or Hrvoje. There. And he's writing in from a website called fictionhorizon.com. He says, hello, my name is Hrove. I'm screwing it up. And I'm a co-owner of Fiction Horizon. He wrote this on December 4th. I've actually already corresponded with him, but I wanted to mention it on the show. We made an article about the 21 best Stranger Things podcasts to listen to in 2022 and included your podcast. My podcast? That's right. This podcast on our list. You can check it out on the link below. And it's fictionhorizon.com/best-stranger-things-podcast. I'm going to put a link to it in the show notes. Let us know if you think something needs to be changed or if we made a mistake. And we'd appreciate it if you could share with the audience. So I definitely linked it. I put a link. I tweeted it out when it first happened. And I just wrote back to him and said, thank you so much. I tweeted it out and I'm going to mention it in the next episode, which is finally here. And he graciously wrote back and said, thank you. Awesome. Thanks. And I appreciate it. Again, anytime someone actually finds the show, never mind takes the time to listen to the show, but then actually posts and talks about the show online, I'm tickled. I'm just so appreciative and I love it. And thank you so much, Mr. Milikovic, because I'm going to screw up your first name if I try pronouncing it again. And my last email is from my longtime listener, Jax. He actually just wrote, I got the book and I got a t-shirt, and he showed a picture of a cool t-shirt that he got, Stranger Things, and he got the book Erica the Great. And I'm almost positive that this relates to a voicemail that we have later that we'll be listening to in a little bit. But perfect timing, even though you got this, a couple of weeks ago, perfect timing that you're here, you got Erica the Great, and you can read along with me as we go through the book in a little bit. But before we get there, I definitely want to play some voicemails, but we're not even there yet. There's something else that I wanted to mention to you. So I went on Instagram, at Geek Mentality on Instagram, a little while ago, and I saw this. This was back on the 17th of December, and I saw that I had like a message, and I was tagged in a post, and lo and behold, the account Matt Gilbert writes posted a screenshot of the book club episode of Hawkins Horrors, a collection of terrifying tales. And if his name sounds familiar, that's because Matthew J. Gilbert is the author of Hawkins Horrors. So he found the episode, he found the post, he took a screenshot of it, and he shared it on Instagram with this little post that says, "Hey, strangers, I found a very cool Stranger Things pod called Stranger Danger, and they actually dedicated an entire episode to my pride and joy, Hawkins Horrors. The episode is available to stream now wherever you get your podcast. I'll throw a proper link in my stories. And he threw a link in there." How amazing is that? He said, "Big thanks to Geek Mentality and Stranger Danger for spreading the word about the book." That was like blown away. I'm like, oh my God, that is amazing. So if you are finding this podcast because of Matt Gilbert, or if you are Matt Gilbert, I just want to that's me like kissing the air saying thank you. Thank you so much for finding the podcast, for listening to the podcast, for enjoying the podcast. I really enjoyed reading the book. It was perfect time during Halloween, and for posting this is just so great. I really, really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And now, on to the voicemails.
Hey, Stranger Danger friends, it's me, Jax. I'm reading this book called The Hunger Games: Catching Fire. I'm almost finished with it, but it's really good. You should check it out. Even, I'm going to upload a new song on SoundCloud called Cool, and it's a really sick song. When I upload it, you should check it out. Love your podcast. Check out The Hunger Games: Catching Fire. It's the second book. Check it out. And remember to listen to my podcast. Did you listen to it? I hope you did. Bye.
Bye. See, there's the first bye, but it's not the last one. Jax. Like I said, see, long-time listener sent in an email, and here's a voicemail from Jax, but I don't think it's the last one. But a couple things. Yes, I've read all. I used to say I've read all the Hunger Games books, but I have not read the prequel, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I haven't read that book at all, and I wonder if it's something I should read. I feel like I should, because I'm big into completionism, where I gotta like watch everything or read everything of a series. So I feel like I should. Like right now, I'm catching up on the Marvel shows. Like I watched Moon Knight all in one day. I watched Miss Marvel all in one day. I'm going to start She-Hulk. I got to watch Werewolf by Night first. I got to get it all caught up. But yes, I read, I don't know if I read them right when they came out, but it was pretty soon after they first came out. I read those books. And I saw the first Hunger Games movie in the theater. And then the rest I watched on home video, whether I don't think it was DVD. I think by then it was either renting or they were on some streaming platforms. And your podcast, I feel like you've mentioned this before, but I don't know if I have a link to it. So please share with me the link to your podcast, and I will gladly talk about it on a future book club episode. Mr. Jax.
Hey, it's Erica. I hope you remember me. If you don't, that's okay. I'm the girl who uses her Alexa to like listen to your podcast. I freaking love your podcast so much. Like, I was going through a really big Stranger Things phase one night, and I just asked my Echo device. I don't want to say the name because it turns on. Like, I just asked it to ask me to suggest a podcast, and yours was first. And I freaking have been listening to every single episode of yours. I just say, hey, play my podcast. And it says, playing Stranger Danger. So, yeah. And I have a question. What are you going to do after season 5 is over? Like, what's going to happen to this podcast? So, yeah. Bye.
Bye. See, I told you it's the thing. It's the cool thing that all us cool young youths of America and the world say bye. Real quick, I just want to say, Alexa, play the Stranger Danger podcast. See, I wonder if that worked. Did that work for anybody? It's weird because like Google, I have my Google thing and I don't know anyone named Google, so I can get away with, saying Google all over and it triggering the machine, but it's not anyone's name. It's when I'm saying the name, I'm usually wanting to trigger my Google machine. But if your name is Alexa, or if your friend's name is Alexa, it's got to be mind-numbing for those who have Echo devices in the house. I think my mom, she has Alexa in one room, and then in the other room she calls it Echo. So if by chance my niece is over, Echo, play Stranger Danger podcast, just in case she's in the room listening to it. I just wanted that to happen. And that's kind of awesome. I love the fact that you say play my podcast and it plays Stranger Danger. That is like so, I don't know if it's still cool to say rad, but it's very rad. And to answer your question, what am I going to do after season 5? I mean, I'm going to do what most of us are going to do. I'm going to cry. Just a lot of crying. Just hours and hours of crying. But for this podcast, what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to keep it going as long as there's a Stranger Things world out there. Future books, future comics. They've talked about spinoffs. They talked about, future shows that are kind of in the world of Stranger Things, but not with these characters. So I'm here to stay. As long as there's a Stranger Things out there, there's a Stranger Danger out there. I do this other podcast. I started it for The Mandalorian. I call it Mandalorian Man, available at fansnotexperts.com. And then I started seeing all these other Star Wars shows coming out. And now I realize Mandalorian Man is the name of the show, but I just do every spinoff, every Star Wars, live action show. I just did Andor. And it's very different from this show where Stranger Danger, I go through with great detail and lots of clips and kind of almost make it like a movie for your mind. Whereas the Star Wars show is very much like a lot of my other podcasts where I just hit record and think about, without any notes, talk about what I just watched. But my point with that is that I started with one goal and then I just started doing all the spinoffs too. And that's really what Stranger Danger is becoming and will become. I started with just doing the show. Then I thought it would be fun to do all the books and comic books. I'm still planning to do the people of Stranger Things, just kind of focusing on characters and while we're waiting for part 5. And once that's done, as long as we're going to keep putting out, again, books, comics, and spin-off shows, there will be a Stranger Danger.
Hey friends, or stranger friends, we have a special announcement. I got the new book, Erica the Great. But we have one more thing I want to hear. Let's hear it. Alexa, do you like Netflix?
I'm no stranger to Stranger Things. That show is out of this world.
Did you hear that? She loves Stranger Things and Erica the Great. I hope I can follow along with you, and I love your podcast so much. The best. I got the book. I got the book at my friend's house. I'm looking at it right now. Just doing a picture walk right now. And bye. See you later. And check your out. And I'm making a new album called 'Twas the Night Before. It's coming out December 25th. And yeah, bye.
Bye. Yes. Now that voicemail came in without any name attached to it, but that's Jack. It's Jack's, right? Because you talked about the shirt. You talked about you didn't mention the shirt, but you talked about the book. And you talked about the story you're writing, and I love that you now look at that. We connected with Alexa again. It feels like synergy. People sending in voicemails and not even realizing that they're related to each other. I love it, and that's perfect timing, Jax, for you to be able to read this along. When we do the comic in a few minutes, we're getting there. For you to be able to follow along. I always wonder if people read it before, or if people don't even read it. They just want to hear me talking about it. Or if they follow along and read it with me for the first time or for a reread. Either way, I appreciate it. And yeah, Jax. And again, we got another one. Another bye.
Stranger Danger. This is Christopher. And I just wanted to say Merry Christmas. And in season 5, how would you want Will to die? If Will were to die, how would you want him to die? I think I would want him to have a sad death, to where he says his last words, and now this is if he dies. He says his last words, and they visit his grave a lot. But also, I read an article that Stranger Things is going to take place like 7 months from when Stranger Things 4 stopped. So I can't wait to see how that happens. Hopefully they do it enough to where Sweet Child of Mine plays in White Lion, because I know you love White Lion. And I like to hear more book club messages, more book club stuff. And every time I listen to a book club for about 5 hours, the Stranger Things, the book club sound is in my head. I love Stranger Things. I started it over the summer and I finished it. I love it so much that I'm pretty sure I'm getting Stranger Things books. I have the Hellfire t-shirt. I don't know what it's called. And because I've always heard voicemails on the podcast, and I always wanted to send one. But Mike, I am funny, it's actually my uncle's name, but I'm in 12. I'm actually writing my own Stranger Things book, but it has something to do with Minecraft, because I don't know how to actually draw an actual character. So the book's called Minecraft Things. I'm on the 3rd season, and I have 4 books in one, and I wish you could read it. It's actually pretty good. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Bye.
Bye, Christopher. I don't know if you noticed, but that actually was he might notice. No one else will notice because of the magic of podcast editing. It was actually 2 voicemails in one. He got cut off in the first one, so I kind of did a little trickery and just made it all into one longer message. He sent a third one, but I think he was talking about how he got cut off, and I couldn't quite hear him in that one. So I appreciate you calling in, and definitely wanted to get you heard on the show, on the pod. The fact that you are writing anything, first of all, but writing something about Stranger Things is awesome. And I would love to somehow get a chance, if it's something that can be, sent through email, strangerdanger@fansnotexperts.com. That would be really cool. But I love that it's Stranger Things. But again, I love that you're doing anything creative, because I feel like doing anything creative, whether it's silly podcasting or writing or playing music, is good for the old brain. That's me hitting my brain, hitting my head. So that's really cool. Also very cool that you have an uncle named Mike. I mean, I don't know how many of you people out there don't have uncles named Mike, but for those of you who do, congratulations. You've won the uncle lottery, just like Christopher here. Now, the big thing he mentioned was, and Minecraft, I don't know. I know Minecraft because I've seen my nephew play Minecraft. I've seen my friends' kids play Minecraft. I know of it. I remember going to like a dog costume parade, and this family was dressed up like Minecraft characters. This kid looked like 8-bit blocks. I mean, it was amazing. But that's all I know about Minecraft. But keep writing. It doesn't matter if you're not happy with it, you just keep doing it until you are happy with it. You keep going and going. Keep those creative, mind thoughts going, and always create. Okay, but the big thing you talked about was Will, and how would I like him to die? I've been dreaming about Will Byers' death. No, I don't want him to die. Obviously nobody wants him to die, but I understand what you mean. If he were to die, if it were to happen, if the saddest possible thing could happen and Will Byers were to die, how would you like it to happen? You mentioned it being sad, but I'm going to take the opposite approach. I think the coolest way or the best way for, God forbid, if Will had to die, would be for kind of this Will the Wise character. You know, I talked about it when I was mentioning the article that, you know, Will said he was going to play a big part in 5. What if he sacrificed himself for his group, you know, for his friends? I mean, they call themselves, you know, the Dungeons and Dragons, their campaign, their group, but really, what if he sacrificed himself somehow to end it all, you know, close the book for good, save everybody. But he did it kind of in a courageous, Will the Wise kind of way. I think that would be, again, I'm going to use rad, but only because it rhymes with sad. And both would be, it'd be rad and sad. Whew. And yes, if we could get some Guns N' Roses and some White Lion in the next season, that would be amazing. Because who doesn't love White Lion?
Hello, Mike. I am Reese, and I have never sent in a voicemail. And I'm a big fan of the show, but I'm also a big fan of Stranger Things. Podcast, and Stranger Things, which is a show. And I don't know, I just wanted to send in a voicemail because I wanted to hear myself in a podcast. Anyways, keep making episodes, and yeah, bye. Have a very Merry Christmas. Bye.
Whoa, Reese. We don't say bye around here. We say bye. Reese, thank you so much for calling in and leaving your voicemail. You just got your voice heard on a podcast. I appreciate it. I'm glad you're a big fan of both this show and Stranger Things. Imagine if you were a fan of this show. You're like, I really love your podcast. Don't really like Stranger Things all that much. I could take it or leave it, but your podcast is aces, buddy. I don't know if people still talk like it's 1940s Vegas, but if they do, they'd say it's aces, buddy. Resend it another voicemail, but it got cut off a little bit. He just said he didn't listen to the original one before he sent it in. But you know what, Reese? That one was perfect, and you nailed it. And I hope to hear from you again in the future. Now that we got the voicemails out of the way, how about we talk a little Erica Sinclair? But before we do that, just a real quick thank you again for everyone who has done iTunes reviews or has written in on email, strangerdanger@fansonexperts.com, or has called in to the voicemail line. You can go to strangerdangerpodcast.com, and there's a link right there for you to leave voicemails. It's free. It uses this web tool called SpeakPipe. And you just record a little thing right on your phone or your computer or whatever, and it will send an email with the audio clip that I'm able to copy and paste right into the show. So, enough of that. Without further ado, let's talk Erica the Great. Stranger Things, Erica the Great. The cover, first of all, is really cool. It shows Erica kind of dressed up as, I'm assuming, her Dungeons and Dragons character. She's got a sword. She's got a crown. She's got some cool armor. She has wings, a nice cloak, and also looks like there's a bunch of different dice. Like that's the plural of die. I almost said different die. That would be wrong. Different dice that I don't think I noticed until looking at it this time around. And we have the credits for Stranger Things, Erica the Great, Script by Danny Lore and Greg Pak. Art by Valeria Favoccia. I think I got that right. Colors by Dan Jackson. Lettering by Nate Picos of Blambota. I'm sure I get that wrong every time. And cover art by Ron Chan. Of course, this is a Dark Horse comic. And we get some credits. Now, if you are reading along with me, now this is available. I got this through really where I get all my comics, Stranger Things comics, through Amazon and through the Comixology or whatever it's called now. Is it just called Amazon Comics or Comixology app? I don't know. They changed it, but it makes it easier because I can just quickly go into Amazon and buy these books and they show up on my tablet. So, oh, cool. We get another drawing of her or another cover art without any text. I always like trying to get the cover art without any text for the art for the show. And it has a little signature for Ron Chan. Really, really cool art. But the next art we see, actually, it's almost like it's a chapter break, maybe. It shows her, Erica, sitting on a crown with a sword, looking a little annoyed, and she has a unicorn next to her. And we get right into it, right into the action, right away. We could see we're in a fantasy world. There are these, I don't know, skeleton soldiers running into someone's room. It says the skeleton horde of Karakang bursts through the oaken door. I almost said broken door, but that's an O. Oaken door. And the skeletons are saying, scrack. And another one saying, gra. And in there is a queen, Queen Sin. She stumbles backwards, holding nothing but an ineffectual letter opener. Well, I mean, that's still kind of a knife. And thus endeth the monarchy of Claire. Unless, dun dun dun, we turn the page, and Erica the Great saves the day. We see Erica. Now, this is still in the fantasy world, so I'm assuming we're in the middle of a game, or what do they call it? A campaign. She's diving into the room. She's got some sort of scepter or something in her hand that she has taken them all out. We see skulls flying all over the place. One of the skeletons is saying, heroic. It's a full page art. Really, really cool action. And yes, she is actually, now we're in the real world, and it seems like she's playing Dungeons and Dragons by herself. She yells, 20! Oh, yeah! And then we see her scribbling something down. Erica the Great's mighty mace makes mincemeat of the undead monstrosities. That is some really good alliteration. Let's say that again, everyone. Erica the Great's mighty mace makes mincemeat of the undead monstrosities. And when she searches the broken bones, she lay claim to 12 copper pieces, 34 gold pieces, I don't know why I did that in an Irish accent, and 143 electrum pieces, and a pair of gauntlets of ogre power. Yes, but again, she seems to be underneath a bunch of clothing in some sort of store, almost like a clothing rack with some people looking at her. She doesn't care. She's loudly excited about doing so well in, I guess, solitaire Dungeons and Dragons. All of a sudden, we see Mom, Erica Sinclair. I know you are not sitting on a store floor in the clothes I paid money for playing dragons and dungeons. It's Dungeons and Dragons, Mom. And she writes underneath, but victory is fleeting. I'm not sure if this is her writing these down or if this is just kind of the thought bubbles or just kind of the narration for us. Maybe it's her inner thoughts. Because we go back to the next page and it says victory is fleeting. We go to the next page and we're back in the fantasy. For Queen Sin has laid a terrible trap. So Queen Sinclair must be her mother. That's what I'm assuming Sin comes from. Ha ha! Unless her name's Cindy Sinclair, that can't be. Ha 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 ha! The queen is yelling, and all that Erica the Great had fought for was laid to waste. And the next page looks like we're back outside the Sinclair home, or in the Sinclair neighborhood at least. And her mom's telling her it's not the game I have a problem with. But we're not going to be in public while you misbehave and talk fresh or shoot dirty looks at my back, because that's exactly what she's doing. Oh, now we know how to watch our mouths because Eric is just stewing. She's like, well, and then you hear, hello, Miss Sinclair. Well, you don't hear it because it's a comic book. Good morning, Miss Dorothy. Erica, go over there and say good morning to Miss Dorothy. There's an old woman sitting out on her porch, and her mom says it kind of quietly. She wants Erica to go over. And she's like, I can just wave from here. But nope, she nudges her over. And Erica walks up on the porch. Well, that's my Miss Dorothy. Hello, Miss Dorothy. Looks like you're finally learning how to respect your elders, young lady. I'd be like, I'm sorry, what did you just say to me? But instead she goes, I guess. Miss Dorothy says, you do what your mother says, and you might end up as nice as your friend Tanya down the street. Now that's a wonderful little girl, so polite and plays such beautiful piano. Did you know that? Yes, Miss Dorothy. Thank you, Miss Dorothy. She gives her a quarter. And Erica's mom's like, not a word. Then we're back at the Sinclair house, and it wasn't a quarter. I'm sorry. She says, you know, when Miss Dorothy was a little girl, a nickel was worth something. And Erica says, they had money back then? Ha, ha, Mom says. They go into the house, and she says, and where are you going now? My room? To play more dragons. Dungeons and Dragons? Maybe. You don't want to end up like Miss Dorothy, do you? All alone in a dark, creepy house? Whoa. We just went from being like, Miss Dorothy's so nice, and in her day, a nickel meant something. Now she's like, if you're going to play Dungeons and Dragons, you're going to end up just like Miss Dorothy, alone in a creepy house in your neighborhood. Okay, Mrs. Sinclair, I don't know. That was a little rough. And then Erica says, I thought you didn't have a problem with me playing. She says, I mean, at least Lucas used to play it with his friends. Well, he won't play with me. But what about your friends? So it talks about Lucas used to play with his friends. So timing-wise, I'm going to say this is before. This is going to be after season 3, but before season 4, because now Lucas might be with the basketball team. I'm guessing with the timeline. I didn't look at the date. But again, the date of release for these publications don't always have to coincide with the timeline, where it fits in the timeline of Stranger Things. But Erica's mom's like, what about your friends? And so we see her trying to, get her friends to play. So there's 3 girls sitting on a stoop. They're all eating ice cream, and Erica is basically making their pitch to her, making a pitch to them. They're like, so how does it work? She says it's like make-believe, but it's better, Tanya. Make-believe is for babies. Oh, Tanya, Miss Dorothy thinks you're so nice. I'm not so sure about that. She says, no. There's monsters and heroes and fighting and treasure and stuff. Like, real treasure? What? No, I mean, so what's the point? Erica's like, the point is, it's awesome. There's magic and spells, and my mom doesn't like that kind of stuff. Don't worry, Tanya. It's not like that. It's like My Little Pony. Are there unicorns? Yes, Kelly. There can be unicorns. There can be. So remember, Tanya said my mom doesn't like that kind of stuff. This is also around the time. This is before we get to the Eddie. I'm guessing this is before the Eddie Munson, the Satanic Panic. The whole thought of these Dungeons and Dragons clubs are actually cults that are, worshiping the devil. But this girl, Kelly, all she cares about, it seems like, are there unicorns? And Erica's like, yeah, sure, there can be. It's going to be great. I'll be the dungeon master. What's that? It's like the narrator. Trust me, it's going to be great. Be at my house. It's 6. Then she hands them each these envelopes. And they're like, whoa, I don't know. My mom's real strict. But then Erica says, my mom said we could order a pizza. And I think it was Kelly, or maybe, I'm not sure which girl said it. She goes, oh, April. She says, pizza. See, April gets it. And then Tanya says, well, my mom is out of town and my dad doesn't ask too many questions. So Erica starts to walk away, and she says, "But what would a unicorn be doing in a dungeon? I guess we'll find out, won't we?" And Erica heads off to get the story going. So she's back in her bedroom. She says, "I look like a dungeon master." She's all dressed up. She's got all her work. Maybe she must have prepped already. She actually says, "I'm prepped like a dungeon master." Coming. She hears the doorbell, runs downstairs, opens it up, sees all three girls. "I'm ready to be a dungeon master." Now, she doesn't say it like she's, narrating a movie trailer from 1993, but that's the way I say it. "I'm ready to dungeon master." So on the next page, we are right into it. We are thick in the story. In fact, we see the girls, all three of them, dressed in their regular clothes and aren't like in any sort of costumes in this fantasy, but they are in some sort of tavern. There's an elf with a cool red mohawk sipping some sort of ale. He's got pointy ears. That's why I'm calling him an elf. That looks like, I would say, a small sort of rodent / lizard / I'm going to call it a tiny demogorgon, maybe a demodog. But the head doesn't look quite right, but I'm guessing that's sort of what they're going after. I'm guessing. And Erica says, "We start our adventure as we so often do." And Tanya's like, "I thought you never got to play." "As we so often do." She doesn't even stop. She just keeps going. "In Starcourt Tavern, where anyone who knows anything goes for information." Starcourt Tavern, huh? So maybe it's named after the mall that already burnt down, I'm guessing. Again, I'm not sure where we are in the timeline. That's just my thought. She says, "It is a wicked den, a dangerous place of heroes and sellswords and villains." "What's a sellsword?" one of the girls asks. And I think it's Tanya says, "I think it's a bodyguard." Suddenly, our party's attention is drawn to a mysterious figure, a woman whose very presence outshines the tavern itself. Ooh, this woman sounds very special. "I've heard you are seeking to make a name for yourself as adventurers," says this woman as she walks over. Actually, the story says the beautiful hooded woman. And Tanya says, "When did any of us say we want to make our name as adventurers?" Like, she's not even like playing along at all. You got to kind of go into it where you want to be part of an adventure. And this girl does not seem to want to be part of this. We jump back to the real world, and Erica says, "Of course you want to make your name as adventurers. That's why we're playing." She's like, "Really? Maybe I just want to marry a prince. Did you ask anyone? Kelly? April?" And one of the girls says, "If we just go on the adventure, will there be unicorns, as we promised?" "Of course there will be," said Erica, "but you can't marry a prince, Tanya. 1, that's not an adventure, and 2, you're a level 1 thief. No prince is going to marry you." I'm a thief? Why am I a thief?" And it shows all three of the characters. And yep, Tanya is Tanya the thief, Kelly is the cleric, and April is the wizard. I do magic? Rad, said April. And Kelly's like, "A cleric?" And Tanya says, "It's a healer. She made you a healer, and you don't even get any magic. So why did you get to decide, Erica?" Erica's getting annoyed by them now. She's like, "Because I made your character sheets, and we needed a balanced party." She caught herself. She started to say "I needed." "So listen up, adventurers. We've got a unicorn to save." We're back in the story, and we see one of the girls. It is April walking down a long hallway. She's leading the way. The 2 other girls are behind her. And she says, "Having finally made it past the ogre's riddle, it was way too hard." So it seems like we're jumping ahead in part of the storyline. She says, "Whatever, April, roll that 6-sided die." I got a 2. Why? Because. And you see her character step on something. As April the wizard fails to notice the trap at her feet, arrows spring from the wall. And you see these arrows. That's my arrow sound effect. Pretty good, right? Like, close your eyes. Ready? Here's an arrow. Look out! Didn't that feel realistic? And while most of the party manages to avoid the danger, thief Tanya gets grazed. Tanya, you take 2 hit points for damage. Oh no, Tanya, what do we do? And she's like, so I'm the only one who got hit? I'm the only one who I only have 1 hit point left? And Erica says, or the other girl says, Erica said I could heal people, but I don't know how. Why did I get hit? Because I didn't like your stupid riddle, Erica? Enough. Erica, these girls, they clearly don't want to be there. Erica really doesn't want to, really seems like want to involve them, except that she needs bodies to play the game. She wants to play. She needs people to play. Just play. Just do everything I say and you'll have fun. That's almost like her way. It sounds like what she's trying to do. And Erica tells her, roll for initiative. And then we see the giggling goblins descend upon the party, drawn by the sounds of the dungeon's ingenious traps. They drop from ceilings, come up from the floor, surrounding everyone. And Erica says, okay, guys, your party goes first. They said, can we leave? What? Erica says, why would you leave? And Tanya says, because the goblins sound gross and we don't know how to fight. Duh. Okay, let's go. No, Erica says. Fight started. You can't leave. In the distance, they hear a crash as rocks collapse, blocking the entrance. There's no escape. We see we see the thief trying to attack. We see like different examples of dice rolling. I don't know Dungeons and Dragons, but I see a 4-sided dice. I see a 6 or 8-sided dice. We see the 20-sided dice. Different rolls. The thief's like trying to slash one of the goblins. The cleric, the wizard, they're all fighting these guys. And as the last giggling goblin falls, the team rejoices. Ha ha! I did it! I beat one! And it looks like they're kind of maybe having a little fun now. But just as they shout triumphantly, they're whisked aside with a gale-like force. But it's not the wind, it's Erica the Great, the very woman who has given them the mission. The party has had no way of knowing that they were so close to their prize. Watch out! Oh, it was Erica that kind of saved them. And, we see Queen Sin, Erica the Great's mortal enemy. And Tanya's like, another fight already? Cool. Do we roll for initiative again? And Erica says, sure. And once you do, Erica the Great goes first. They're like, so we just watch? This fight's too dangerous for you, but Erica the Great's a level 5. Well, I want to be a level 5. My turn now. Tanya the Thief strikes out against the queen, but she's too slow. She misses. And Erica's like, now Tanya's like, you're definitely cheating, Erica. Erica says, it's the rules. You haven't leveled up enough yet, and Queen Sin is super powerful. So powerful, in fact, that one clean shot move, Queen Sin descends upon this Tanya with a knife, and we jump back to the real world, and Tanya's like, I'm dead? What do you mean? Eric says, you only had 1 hit point, and you didn't have high enough armor class to block her blow. I mean, I told you. You only hit me because you made her so strong that the only one who could fight her is you. I'm done. I'm done with your stupid game. I've got a better idea. And she heads off. She could have just re-rolled and made a new character, Erica says. But anyway, Erica the Great shouts, pleading that her party will fight to the death to avenge their fallen compatriot. The cleric and the wizard take their turns, bravely marshalling their feeble powers against the mighty Queen Sin. But in the end, it's all up to the Great One. As dawn breaks, Queen Sin has finally been defeated, and Erica the Great can now claim the throne and the beautiful unicorn, thanks in part to the help of April the Wizard, Kelly the Cleric, and the brave sacrifice of Tanya the Thief. And Erica has the unicorn on the throne. It's actually the same drawing we see at the beginning of this, of the book. And I realize now it can't be. These aren't chapters. This isn't a collection. This is a one long graphic novel. And it shows Erica, excited. And then the other two girls are like, yay. We didn't even get the unicorn? Like, what the hell? Then all of a sudden you hear ding. They didn't say what the hell. That's me being upset because Erica took all the glory. Ding dong, it's the doorbell. And they yell, pizza. But it's not pizza. It's Tanya. She's back. I've got something way cooler than make-believe. You guys want to see? She pulls out behind her back this big something covered in it's like a domed something covered in a sheet of some kind. And what is it? And the girl says, oh my God, Tanya, your mom's going to kill you. And Erica's behind you. It's like, it's not just make-believe, guys. It's Dungeons & Dragons. And it's way cooler than, boom. She pulls the sheet off and we see a parakeet in a cage. And the parakeet greets us by saying, squawk, meet Elliot. He's my mom's parakeet. He won the prize at the bird show in Indianapolis last March. The other girls are like, oh my God, she's so pretty. I can't believe it. And Tanya's like, oh, he is pretty. And he's real. Because Tanya really hates imagination. And Erica, well, she doesn't I don't think she likes to be impressed by anything. She's like, oh, okay, sure. It's a bird. I mean, I wouldn't have risked getting murdered by my mom by taking her out of my house, but that's just me. So now let's get back to the game, guys. I was just about to, hey guys, they're not even paying attention to her right now. They're just all about the bird. They're like, the bird's so beautiful. We're probably just going to get killed in the next scene anyway. Tanya says, stop being so jealous, Erica. What did you say? It's almost like telling Marty McFly he's chicken in Back to the Future 2 and 3, not in the first one. She said, you heard me. You're jealous that my bird is cooler than your stupid rule book story. I'm not jealous, and it's not even your bird. It's your mom's. And D&D is 1,000,000 times cooler than your stupid bird. She starts walking right at her. Tanya says, maybe it'd be a little cooler if someone else was in charge and wasn't making us all weak. And at this point, Erica comes right up to the cage and she's like, it's rules, Tanya. If you keep playing, why do I want to keep playing, Erica? But she bumps into the cage, opens the cage up, and the freaking bird flies out of the cage and out of the open door because they left the door open. And they both yell at each other, look what you did. I'm sorry, Tanya, and I'm sorry, Erica, but I have to blame Erica on this one. Yes, I think Tanya's trying to upstage her in her little birthday Dungeons & Dragons adventure, sure. I also think Erica wasn't being overly courteous to her friends coming over and playing this game for the first time. She should have kind of eased them into it and maybe made it easier for them and maybe made them have a little fun. But when it came to the argument, Erica walked right into the cage without paying attention. So I am blaming Erica Sinclair on this one. I'm sorry. I know she is Erica the Great, but on this page right now, I'm like, oh my God, Erica, what did you do? Her mom's like, all of a sudden her mom's like, what's going on? Nothing, Erica and Tanya say together. And then her mom's like, Erica, why didn't you tell me the pizza man was here? I'm sorry. And of course, the pizza man gets there right on time. It's not DiGiorno, it's delivery. And they're like, come on, Erica, why don't you just tell your mom she could help? She'd call my mom and then I'd be dead, Tanya said. She's like, you hush. Look, they look out the window and they see Elliot, the bird, flipping and flapping and flying around. He goes right by the pizza dude, goes up by old Dorothy's house, that scary, creepy house that we don't want Erica to turn into, goes right in her open door because people love keeping their doors wide open in Indiana. I mean, I'm not saying lock your door. I'm saying close your door so things like birds can't fly in and out of your house. But she gets up just in time to see the bird fly into her house. And then she's like, time for bed, closes the door. Oh my God, says Erica as she stands there with all four friends. They realize now the bird, even though it's in the house now, it's in Dorothy's house at night. Oh boy, this is leading us to an adventure they weren't expecting that night. So Erica's mom says, all right, girls, the pizza's in Erica's room. Don't make a mess. Thank you, Miss Sinclair. They run upstairs and Tanya's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, what am I going to do? It's all right, Tanya. At least you know where it is now, says one of the other girls. I forget if it's Kelly or April. All you got to do is go ask Miss Dorothy if you can go inside and look around. And Tanya says, are you crazy? Go inside that creepy lady's old house. That old creepy. Go inside that creepy old lady's creepy old house. Wow, that's really nice, Tanya. But April, you got to come with me. My mother told me not to go into stranger's house, and she is strange. Kelly, this is grown-up stuff, Tanya. You should call your mom. Oh, she's going to kill me. She's going to kill me. And Erica's just sitting there, eating her pizza, taking it in. Now, at this point, we know Erica has helped save the world at least once. Could be a couple times, but at least once we know. At this point, Erica has helped save the world. And she's like, oh, all right, fine. And we see a shot of her in her mind. She's standing around the table in the tavern in her fantasy. But she gets up, stands up, and says, I'll do it. Tanya's crying. She's like, you'll do what? She's getting like a tennis racket and a bat, maybe, and a net out of her toy box. And she says, I'll sneak over there and rescue your pigeon. That's what. It's a parakeet. And this isn't your corny game, Erica. You're not some magic adventurer who can climb out the window and shimmy down the tree. She's like, Erica, what are you doing? As she opens up her window, they look and she goes, oh, she's climbing out the window and shimmying down a tree. Yes, guys, Erica may not be the greatest dungeon master for newbies playing Dungeons and Dragons, but she is a gosh darn adventurer for real and a hero for real. As she hits the ground in her mind, we're seeing Erica the Great. She sneaks past the Queen's Sin and she runs to Dorothy's home. But when we get there, we see a girl that looks a little scared, a little frightened. She's looking in some windows. She's not sure what to do. She starts to realize that this might be a little more than she bargained for when she first thought of it. She looks up to her friends, gets determined, sees them nervous. Now she's like, maybe that gave her a little resolve. She looks into the house. Now, in the fantasy world, she looks like she's looking into a cage and seeing a giant phoenix. But in our world, we know she's looking through a window and seeing a parakeet. But there are dogs. Is it a three-headed dog? Is that Cerebus? Is that what it's called in the world of like fantasy? And maybe didn't Hagrid have a three-headed dog? So we see this dog going rah, 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 rah. Now in Miss Dorothy's house, it's just this cute, fluffy white dog going rah, 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 barking, still barking. She runs back, and Tanya's like, Erica. She's like, Tanya, what are you doing here? She's like, I don't know. You look like you needed help. Do you think she saw me? No, because now we see Dorothy looking out the window. She's like, seriously though, you can't just sneak into people's houses. Not alone. She's like, what? Miss Dorothy likes you. What do you mean? She's always talking about how you and she's always talking about you and your piano. So we just go back there. But this time, while I'm doing the dirty work, you'll be the distraction. Me? Yes, you. Tanya the Bard. Now we see there's a new page and Erica has given her a new character. She's a bard. She's dressed in a really kind of bright green and purple suit with real puffy pants, puffy shoulders, cool gloves, a beret type hat. And she's like, what's a bard? And Erica says, a singer of songs, a teller of tales, a tricksy like a thief, but with a lot more charisma. And Tanya's like, charisma, huh? Like she seems to be like, okay, this I could work with. And we see Kelly and April watching from Erica's window. Oh my God, they're going back. And we're inside Daniel. Well, we are inside Daniel's house. We're inside Dorothy's house. And the dog's name is Daniel. And the door buzzes. The dog goes, rah, 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 rah. Oh, hush, Daniel. And she opens the door, and it's Tanya. She says, oh, hello, Miss Dorothy. I'm sorry to bother you. Well, if it isn't little Miss Tanya, it's no bother at all. Nearly my bedtime, but I was just talking about you earlier today. Now, what on earth are you doing here after dark? And the dog goes up, gives a little smell, like checks her out, as dogs do. She says, oh, I was just visiting a friend and I realized you were across the street and I just wanted to check to make sure you didn't need anything. While she's doing this, we see Erica sneaking into the kitchen window or by the kitchen window. She says, well, if that isn't the most grown-up thing I've ever heard. You sound just like your mother, child. This is my impression of an older lady. Did she tell you to check on me? Oh, no, ma'am, not specifically. But I've seen her do it, so, and while we see that, we are actually seeing Erica sneak into the kitchen window, and there's Elliot the parakeet right there on Dorothy's refrigerator. She says, well, that's just the sweetest thing. I am doing fine, thank you for asking. Although I will tell you, it has been a day of many wonders. And we hear the conversation while watching Erica. She's like, come on, Elliot, come here, Elliot, here. She says, I know you are a good girl, Tanya, but your friends, they aren't bad kids, said Tanya. Not all of them. Kelly sometimes runs errands for me when her father asks. That little Miss Sinclair girl, though. Ooh, you didn't hear it from me, but she's a troublemaker, rude and stubborn. Eric, like, okay, really? Like, Dorothy, what did she do that you know this? Anyway, we're actually watching Erica the Great in the fantasy world going up against the three-headed dog. Oh, it is Cerberus. Erica stands firm against the beast, but how can even she defeat the monstrous Cerberus? Not Cerberus, Cerberus. So we see a strength check. It says wrestle the creature or charisma check. Enforce her will. Intimidate it. Erica the Great applies her creativity using her environment to bargain with the beast. She sees a pile of bones in the fantasy world. So I guess strength check and charisma check are sort of Dungeons and Dragons options that you have when your character, like, it's almost like a choose your own adventure type thing. At least that's my guess. Again, I've never played it. So she sees a pile of bones, but in our world, in the real world, she sees a dog treat shaped like a bone. And she's giving one to the dog, but we still hear Dorothy bad-mouthing her. She said, and I never said this, but Erica isn't the only problem child in that house. Lucas. Well, I heard him and his unruly friends. And Tanya says, unbelievable. And she's just trying to buy time as Erica gives some treats to Daniel the dog. And thusly, Erica the Great has sued the Cerberus. Uh-oh, but that's not the only problem. You hear scream, and I thought it was a bird. It's actually water on a kettle. Oh, that's just my tea water. I'll just get up. I was just about to make some, and she's about to get up. And Tanya says, no. I'll get it, Miss Dorothy. You just stay right there and rest. It's late. Please stay right there. She goes into the kitchen as Dorothy says, how sweet. Not like that Sinclair girl at all, are you? I mean, really, Dorothy, piling it on a bit for a girl? I don't know about you. Now, in the fantasy world, we see Dorothy wearing a witch hat. I'm starting to believe it. So Tanya says, will you hurry up? She's old and boring and smells like it. So this sweet girl, Tanya, is actually really being mean to Dorothy, who I'm just going to say it, kind of deserves it. It's the way she's talking about our friend Erica. Erica's like, this is a delicate mission. I'm trying not to spook the dumb bird. So she heads back into the room with Dorothy, even though in this world we see it's the fantasy world. She says, my potions. And Tanya says, I can play you a song. The lonely witch is pleased by the bard's offer to perform. And oh, no. At the same time, it looks like the dog got into some of the knitting needles that in yarn that Dorothy has out. That has nothing to do with the bird, but the beast is now entangled by the lost Spider Lord's remaining snares, even though it's just yarn. Shakes loose the web's treasure, accumulated from the heroine that's never made it out of the witch's castle. Shakes loose the web's treasure, which I guess are swords and stuff. Oh, it's knitting needles, and they're about to hit the ground, but ooh, Erica catches them just in time. Now the Spider Lord's web and the maw of Cerberus are overcome. Nothing stands between Erica and her bounty. Besides, perhaps, a small dexterity check, an easy one. Can she actually reach the bird with this net? I love how everything she's doing, she's kind of thinking about it in the realm of Dungeons and Dragons. Now, Tanya the Bard has successfully entranced the witch in her lair through a combination of musical skills and turning the witch's own potion against her. Now, wait a minute. She just gave her tea. She didn't spike the old lady's drink, did she? Now all that remains is for Erica the Great to, and we see her snatch the bird. Phew, victory. The great net of light surrounds the phoenix. Even its strongest flaps and flames are no match for its magic. Wonderful, except there's still over about 20 pages left. So, what the heck's going to go on? But, just as Erica the Great, conqueror and hero, has victory in her grasp, the friggin' dog comes up and grabs the net, rips the net open. The bird gets out. Oh my God. The next shot we see Erica goes flying, trying to get the bird back. The dog jumps. Now the dog's chasing the bird. The door opens. We see a bird flying out. We see the dog flying out. Now Tanya's screaming. Dorothy's awake. She's screaming. Holy moly. It's complete anarchy. She's like, Daniel, come back here. Oh dear, it's my fault. He's too much of a dog for an old lady like me. Tanya says, don't worry, Miss Dorothy. Grabs the leash out of the old lady's hand and says, I'll get him for you. Oh my. She's like, she's really excited that luckily Tanya's there, even though this is all Tanya and Erica's fault in the first place. So now Erica's outside the house. She said, Tanya, Erica, where'd you come from? I'm out the window. Where's the bird? Up there. Now we see, oh my God, we see the dog barking up in the tree to a bird, and then a friggin' cat shows up. Who asked this cat to show up out of nowhere? Oh no. And the cat's like, Meow. Now the dog, Daniel's, chasing a cat in one direction, and the bird's going in a different direction. Like, oh my God, we're going to wake up the whole neighborhood. Tanya says, my mom is going to kill me. I didn't just lose Elliot. Now I've lost Miss Dorothy's dog. Yeah, well, my mom's going to double kill me, but they're not going to find out. You go after the dog. I'll go after the bird. It'll be fine. Erica's still taking charge. And Tanya's like, no, it's not. All right, then. You go off and cry while I'll take care of all of this myself. Come on, Erica, that's not what I meant. You always act like you're the best and you know best, and you never want to share the glory, but this is too much. We can't do this alone. What? Us? Now we see Kelly and April up in the bedroom still. They're like, no way. And Erica says, come on, cowards, we're all in this together. Oh, I thought Erica the Great likes to keep everything to herself. That's right, but this isn't just Erica the Great. Okay, this isn't just about Erica the Great, Tanya says. If we don't get Elliot and Dante back, Dante? I thought his name was Daniel. Erica and I are going to be in huge trouble. I'm talking being grounded for life. Sorry, that threw me off. The dog's name was Daniel, right? I'm going to go back 2 pages. Oh, Daniel, come back. Is the cat Dante? Where did we get... I don't know where Dante came from, but she did say Dante. If we don't get Elliot and Dante back, Eric and I are in huge trouble. I'm talking about being grounded for life. I wonder if I just found a mistake. I don't know. Does everyone who's reading along, does yours say Dante as well? Unless I completely missed it. There's a Dante in here too. Erica says, we're in this mess because I didn't want to listen to any of you about what you wanted. And you know what? That's not a good dungeon master. So I'm sorry for not being the leader you guys needed. Really sorry. And I need you guys. They look at each other and they start climbing out the window. They couldn't just go downstairs, because I guess that'd wake up the queen. So they jump out the window to the tree and shimmy down the tree. They're like, thank you. Okay, 2 teams. Tanya, you and April head up the street and look for the bird. Kelly, you're coming with me to... and she's like, I'm not chasing that dog. I'm going with Tanya. Fine. Okay, April, you come with me. No way. Okay, fine. April and Kelly, you go look for the bird. I'll go with Erica. This is Tanya says. So April and Kelly are off on bird duty, and Tanya and Erica are going to go look for the dog, which is Daniel, not Dante. They say, hey, look, and there's the bird. All right, this is it. What do we do? but because now all four of them together and the bird's right there. And then we go back to the Fantasyland again. I don't know if it's the last time, but we go back to the Fantasyland, and thus the party concludes that the bard is best suited to charm the great phoenix who had found protection in the lands of the Trents. The Treants? Tanya the bard, know all the stories about charming phoenixes and had prepared the perfect offering. That's a good Phoenix. Erica, it's almost time. She gets closer to the bird. The phoenix peers at the magic seeds, intrigued and delighted. And the treants relax the guard. The treants. Oh, get it? Because she's in the bushes. She's in trees. But will our hero's trap hold? Grrr. Stay mega still, Erica the Great says. And is this Tanya? This is Kelly or April. Says, staying mega still. Not Tanya goes, here, chicky, goes up with the cage. Oh, Lord, I just a little slack. Just cut us a little slack, one of the girls says. And they get closer to the bird. Closer. And then, boom. The dog jumps out of nowhere. Who would have expected just then that the Cerberus would find the very same prey as the party? Now the dog's going after the bird. The bird flies off. She says, I've got the dog. Grab the bird. Erica grabs onto the dog, but can't hold on. Now it's chasing the bird. Things are going crazy, but the bird flies right into Tanya's hands. Erica, I got Elliot. That was so cool, guys. I thought we'd get all scratched up in the bushes. Erica, when you got dragged around by that big old dog, you looked ridiculous. Yeah, well, you guys, you could have spent tonight doing this, but cooler in Dungeons & Dragons, That's what parties do. And in your game, if your game had this much teamwork, yeah, best we would have had fun. So it's like they're realizing, yes, we could have fun doing adventures that aren't as dangerous as this, but it'd be fun if we were more teamwork than just following your story, Erica. She says, yeah, whatever. But come on, we still have to get the dog. Wait a minute. Do we? What do you mean, do we? Yes. And the girl says, but does Miss Dorothy know you had anything to do with it escaping? And Tanya says, wait, does she? I slipped out the window so she never saw me, but I promised I'd catch her for her, Tanya said. And then Erica said, all right then. And she's like, we're not stopping. We're going to catch this freaking dog. If you've ever seen Billy Madison says you got to go out there and find this blank dog. And it says it in front of kindergartens. It's kind of a great line. And so our party splits up yet again, this time so that Erica the Great and Tanya the Bard can hunt the great beast in the terrifying dark of Mirkwood. Oh, no, not Mirkwood. Don't worry, I've got your back, Tanya. Oh, I know. They head into the woods, the beast looms, and our heroes prepare to set one more trap. Still looking for this monster, they hold up the bird. The dog runs right over to them. And then Erica the great renowned beast hunter, the hero of the kingdom of Hawk, and defender of the great hordes, subdues the mighty Cerberus. Grabs the leash and puts it around him. And so, with each having played their great part in the final battle, Erica the Great and Tanya the Bard traveled back to the witch's domicile. The witch had many powers and had known to use them to punish those who had wronged her. Tanya, she sees as the girls arrive, and Miss Sinclair? She says, we found Dante. His name was Daniel in the first couple pages. I thought you turned over a new leaf, young lady. Oh, she's angry. Does your mother know you're prowling around here late at night? Tanya says, Miss Dorothy, we're all out here too late. But to catch Dante, we needed everyone, especially Erica. Oh, you naughty boy. Look at you. And then the dog barks. She hugs the dog. Look at you. You look like you went out in the woods. We'll need to give you a bath after these girls make their way home safely and quietly. Now, I still want to know where the dog Daniel is. Are there two dogs? Because this is Dante. Is there a Daniel and a Dante? I'm so confused. She said there's too much dog, so there's only one dog. Erica says, you're not going to call my mom? Oh, I'd be happy to if you'd like. But if Tanya vouches for you, maybe you've earned the benefit of the doubt this time. So Dorothy's still kind of an old, mean lady, but you know what? You helped out, so I won't snitch on you this time. And as we turn the page, it says, this was not the last of our adventurers' great journeys, of course. And it shows them all sitting around the table playing Dungeons and Dragons. And it seems like this time they're actually really excited. It looks like they're at Tanya's house this time because I see the bird hanging up in his cage is hanging in the kitchen. And okay, you guys, you wanted to roll your own characters, and now we've got 3 bards in the group. Like, haha, they're all excited. There's 3 bards. They all like the idea of being a bard. They said, hang on. If you really need a healer, how about I become a bard/cleric? And Eric says, I don't know if I've seen that before. And if our ladies didn't always approve of every decision, if our leader didn't always approve of every decision her party made, she learned that it can be a little more fun to share the glory. She says, let me see here. I want to be a bard thief. Okay, hold your horses. And then horses, we're getting unicorns this time, right? That's the quest you asked for, so for sure we'll see what happens. So it looks like they want to be a bard, but a cleric, even though one of them was a cleric already. I want to be a bard and a thief, even though you're a thief. So they want to be multiple things. And the last panel, we see them all in character in the fantasy land, sitting around the table with cookies and candies and cakes and donuts in this tavern with a unicorn and cotton candy. And it says, and thus began the true reign of Erica the Great. And we see her raise a cup that she's drinking. I'm going to say filled with root beer. And it says, the end. And that is the ending of Erica the Great. Now, I'm glad I read that. I'm glad Erica got her own adventure. But in the realm of Stranger Things, this one was only okay for me. It was a fun book, but it was so far outside the world of Stranger Things. There was nothing like sideways, tangentially connected to any of the stories, except the mention of Erica, the mention of Lucas, Starcourt, Hawkins. It was really just I guess, a little character side story for Erica herself. Erica, what am I? Isn't that like a thing they do in New York? Isn't that a New York accent? Erica. It was like a little side story for her. I mean, if that isn't how New York or New Jersey talked, I apologize for those of you in New York or New Jersey, but I swear I've known people that say, Erica, you're going to get some pizza with Erica. And I think it's up in that area. I'm in New Hampshire right now. I'm in Massachusetts normally, but where I'm recording this is in New Hampshire. So maybe down in New York, New Jersey. Anyway, I'm going on a tangent. This was a fun little story, cool art, a good little adventure, but it just wasn't Stranger Things enough for me. You know what I mean? Like, it just wasn't overly Stranger Things, I guess is what I'm saying. But they can't all be. And you know what? I'm trying to think. There were definitely others that didn't have Stranger Things in it, like the summer camp. Hey, you know what it was? They had a little more scary stuff in it. The Upside Down stuff was great. 6. All the stuff that like was definitely right. Into the Fire. Those were definitely definitely big Stranger Things. Zombie Boys, not so much, but it kind of played on Will's, time in the Upside Down. So this story was really just a cool little story for Erica, but it actually shows her passion, her real passion for Dungeons and Dragons, which only grows in Stranger Things 4. And you know what? I think that's it. I think I'm done. Again, I want to shout out and give a little apology for just not getting another episode up in a while. But, I'm going to try to be better. I'm fearing that, 2023, we're going to go through that whole year without a new episode of Stranger Things. That is really my fear. I hope I'm wrong. I hope there's some sort of surprise. But I feel like if we do get it towards 2023, it might be towards the end of the year. But I hope that if we don't get new episodes, we get all kinds of new and fun things to talk about, little teasers, episode titles, anything that we can sink our teeth into. I will be back here to talk about it. Plus, any new books, any new comics. I've got another comic in my collection that I'm ready to read about, another comic that I need to go buy that I'm excited to talk about. So you're definitely going to be hearing from me sooner than later. I want to just, say thank you again for everybody for this past year. 2022, I think, has been the most popular year of this podcast ever. And it's all because of Stranger Things being such a phenomenal show and you people being so phenomenal as far as, fans of the show and looking for something to listen to and choosing me as one of those resources to listen to, because there are a lot of Stranger Things podcasts out there, a lot of great Stranger Things podcasts out there. So I just thank you that you choose me as one of those that you are listening to and subscribe to. And I just want to say thank you and Happy New Year. This episode being the last of 2022, I had to get one more done before the end of the year. And I just hope everyone had, a good holiday season or continue to having a good holiday season. And let's hope for bigger and better things for 2023 for everybody, for Stranger Things, for Stranger Danger, for the book club, and for all you listeners out there, for the Stranger Friends. Thank you so much. You can find me on Twitter at Geek Mentality. You can find the show on Twitter at StrangerDPod. I'm also on Instagram at Geek Mentality. You can also find every episode of this podcast at strangerdangerpodcast.com and every episode of everything else I do at fansnotexperts.com. And if you're on Facebook, you can follow Fans Not Experts over there as well. I don't update it a lot, but even though I'm not always podcasting about Stranger Things, I'm always podcasting about something. I just finished over at Geek Mentality a 25-day Christmas extravaganza called Sitcom All Ye Faithful, where I covered 25 sitcoms in 25 days. Marchie McFly will be celebrating its third year coming up in March. So if you go over to fansnotexperts.com/Geek Mentality, you can subscribe to that podcast and get all these little mini shows that I do. I'm also starting a new horror movie podcast called Slash. All that stuff can be found at fansnotexperts.com. So again, my friends, I just want to say thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for subscribing. Happy New Year, my friends. And remember, stay stranger, my friends. And don't forget that reading is fundamental. And you can't spell fundamental without F-U-N.
Butterfly in the sky, I can go twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow. I can go anywhere, friends to know and ways to grow, a reading rainbow. I can be anything. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow. A reading rainbow.
Fans Not Experts.